Hello, America. This is JOC, and you're tuned in to Ranting Politics Headline Updates, where we break down the biggest stories shaking up Washington and beyond. We've got a packed show for you today, starting with South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem's fiery confirmation hearing for DHS Secretary, where she's making waves with bold promises to shut down the controversial CBP One app and transform our border policies. Over in the Middle East, we're tracking major developments in the Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal, with Netanyahu's cabinet set to make a crucial decision that could pause the fighting after months of conflict. Then we'll dive into President-elect Trump's headline-making phone call with Chinese leader Xi Jinping and why it matters for U.S. China relations. Plus, we've got the latest on Medicare's drug price negotiations targeting popular medications like Ozempic and some explosive revelations about Israel's covert operations against Iran's nuclear program. Stick around, we're getting into all of it right here on Ranting Politics Headline Updates. In a dramatic Senate confirmation hearing today, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem laid out her bold vision for transforming the Department of Homeland Security, taking direct aim at the Biden administration's border policies. Noem didn't mince words, declaring the southern border a war zone and vowing immediate action if confirmed as DHS Secretary. The governor's first target? The controversial CBP One app. Noem pledged to shut down the mobile application on day one, effectively ending a program that's allowed roughly 800,000 migrants to legally enter the U.S. since January 2023. According to the New York Post, she's also promising to reinstate Trump's Remain in Mexico policy and eliminate the parole program for Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan migrants. There's several of these programs that need to be eliminated, and we need to ensure that we're following legal immigration laws, Noem stated firmly during her testimony. She emphasized her commitment to securing both southern and northern borders while creating what she called a fair and lawful immigration system. But it wasn't just border security on the agenda. The hearing took an intense turn when discussion shifted to the Secret Service, which has faced intense scrutiny following 2 assassination attempts on President-elect Trump's life. Noem committed to implementing serious reforms within the agency, drawing from her experience working with her own gubernatorial protective detail. In a related development, Donald Trump Jr. announced that his father will name Sean Curran as the new Secret Service director. Curran, who's currently part of Trump's personal detail, gained recognition for his role in protecting Trump during the first assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. This appointment follows the resignation of former Director Kimberly Cheadle amid bipartisan criticism of the agency's performance. Noem promised complete transparency regarding the assassination attempts, pledging to provide full details to the Senate as part of her commitment to rebuilding trust in the agency's capabilities. Breaking news on the Israel-Hamas front as Prime Minister Netanyahu's office announces the Israeli cabinet will meet today to give final approval to a landmark ceasefire deal. This comes after intense negotiations mediated by Qatar, Egypt, and the United States, with the first pause in fighting expected to begin late this weekend. The deal outlines a 6-week initial ceasefire and includes the gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. In exchange for the release of dozens of hostages, including women, children, elderly, and sick individuals, Israel will free hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. However, even as negotiators iron out the final details, Israeli warplanes have intensified their strikes on Gaza, with Palestinian authorities reporting at least 86 casualties in the past day alone. While the White House remains confident the deal is on track, there's been notable resistance within Netanyahu's government. Some hardline ministers argue the war hasn't achieved its objective of eliminating Hamas and should continue. In Jerusalem, protesters have taken to the streets carrying mock coffins and blocking traffic in opposition to the ceasefire. The human toll of this conflict has been staggering. According to Gaza authorities, over 46,000 people have lost their lives since Hamas's October 7th attack, which claimed 1,200 Israeli lives and saw more than 250 taken hostage. The fighting has razed much of Gaza's urban infrastructure and displaced most of its 2.3 million residents. A group representing families of the Israeli hostages has urged Netanyahu to move swiftly, stating, For the 98 hostages, each night is another night of terrible nightmare. Do not delay their return, even for one more night. The deal's success now hinges on resolving what U.S. officials describe as a loose end, reportedly a dispute over the identities of some prisoners Hamas wants released. Senior Hamas official Izzat el-Rashik has reaffirmed the group's commitment to the ceasefire terms, though final approval from Israel's security cabinet and full government remains pending. If all goes according to plan, this could mark the most significant breakthrough in the 15-month-old conflict. President-elect Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping have held their first direct communication since Trump's November victory, in what's being described as a productive conversation covering several critical issues between the world's two largest economies. According to Trump's social media post on Truth Social, the call was very good for both China and the USA. The discussion touched on several hot-button issues, including trade imbalances, the fentanyl crisis, and the future of TikTok. This comes at a particularly sensitive time, with the Supreme Court just upholding a ruling requiring TikTok's Chinese owner, ByteDance, to divest its U.S. assets by January 19th or face a nationwide ban. Xi, for his part, congratulated Trump on his re-election and emphasized China's readiness to build relations from a new starting point. However, Beijing made it clear that Taiwan remains a primary concern, with Xi urging Washington to handle the issue carefully. This diplomatic exchange follows Trump's unexpected move to invite Xi to his January 20th inauguration, though Xi has opted to send his deputy, Han Zheng, instead. The timing is particularly significant as China grapples with economic challenges, including currency values hitting a 16-month low amid fears of potential U.S. tariff hikes. Trump has already threatened to impose an additional 10% tariff on Chinese goods unless Beijing takes concrete steps to address the fentanyl crisis, with campaign proposals suggesting tariffs could reach as high as 60%. The conversation also covered international crises, including the situations in Ukraine and Gaza. Trump's statement that China needs the United States very badly reflects the complex dynamics at play as both nations prepare for a new chapter in their relationship under his second administration. Reuters reports and multiple sources confirm that the president-elect has expressed interest in meeting with Xi soon, though no specific timeline has been announced. This development comes as Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, maintains a hawkish stance, recently characterizing China as the most potent U.S. adversary seeking to displace American global leadership. In a significant healthcare policy development, the Biden administration has just released its second round of Medicare drug price negotiations, targeting 15 expensive medications for 2027. At the center of this list are Novo Nordisk's blockbuster drugs Ozempic and Wegovy, which have become increasingly popular for diabetes and weight loss treatment. These negotiations, established under Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, represent about a third of Medicare Part D prescription drug spending. The process has already shown dramatic results, with previous negotiations yielding price cuts between 38% and 79% on 10 other medications. However, the pharmaceutical industry isn't taking this lying down. PHRMA's CEO Stephen Ubel has strongly criticized the program, calling it dangerous for Americans who rely on innovative treatments. The industry has been actively lobbying the incoming Trump administration to ease these rules, particularly regarding the timeline for small molecule drugs becoming eligible for negotiation. The stakes are particularly high for drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, which currently carry list prices of $935 and $1,350 per month, respectively. With approximately 2.3 million Medicare patients using these medications, government researchers predict their current pricing could significantly impact the U.S. deficit over the next decade. While the Biden administration maintains the law outlines detailed selection criteria that can't be easily changed, some experts disagree. Johns Hopkins professor Guy Bai suggests the Trump administration could have the authority to modify drug selections through executive actions, especially given mounting scrutiny over the program's effectiveness. Drug manufacturers have until February 28th to decide whether they'll participate in these negotiations. Meanwhile, companies like Novo Nordisk, while expressing opposition to government price setting, have indicated their willingness to work with the incoming administration to find what they call meaningful solutions for patients. Stunning news in the realm of international security, as Iranian official Mohammad Javad Zarif has made a stunning admission about Israel's sophisticated sabotage of Iran's nuclear program. For the first time, Iran has acknowledged that Israel managed to infiltrate their nuclear enrichment program by supplying centrifuge platforms secretly rigged with explosives. Zarif, who serves as vice president for strategic affairs under reformist President Masoud Pezeshkian, revealed these details while explaining the challenges Iran faces under Western sanctions. He pointed specifically to the complications of having to work through multiple dealers instead of direct purchases, creating vulnerabilities that Israel's Mossad intelligence agency apparently exploited. This revelation aligns with previously reported details about the 2021 attack on Iran's underground Natanz nuclear facility. The disclosure gains particular significance as tensions continue to simmer, with Israel striking Iran twice during the ongoing Gaza conflict and threatening direct action against nuclear sites as we approach Trump's return to the White House. The timing of this disclosure is especially critical, as Iran continues pushing the boundaries of its nuclear program. Since the U.S. withdrawal from the International Nuclear Accord in 2018, Tehran has dramatically increased its uranium enrichment levels and stockpiles. While Iranian officials maintain their program is peaceful, both President Biden and President-elect Trump have repeatedly stated they won't permit Iran to obtain nuclear weapons. The admission also validates earlier claims by former Mossad chief Yossi Cohen, who had hinted at Israel's role in supplying explosive-laden marble foundations for Iranian centrifuges. With Iran now enriching uranium closer than ever to weapons-grade levels, these revelations underscore the ongoing shadow war over the Islamic Republic's nuclear ambitions. And that wraps up today's whirlwind tour through the headlines, folks. From Kristi Noem's bold border promises to Israel's high-stakes ceasefire negotiations, Trump's diplomatic dance with Xi Jinping, Medicare's drug price showdown, and Iran's explosive nuclear revelations, it's been another packed day of political drama and international intrigue. Stay up to date with all our latest coverage by following us on X at RantingRP. For deeper dives into these stories and exclusive content, head over to rantingpolitics.com. And don't forget, you can also now find us on YouTube and Amazon's Audible app. This is JOC, signing off, and thank you, our loyal listeners, for choosing Ranting Politics headline updates. We'll be back soon with the updates you need to navigate these interesting times. Until then, stay tuned, stay informed, and as always, stay free.
Hey, you brilliant inventors and creators. Have you crafted a product that's ready to break out from the digital world and hit the physical shelves? Imagine your creation sitting proudly in stores like Walmart, Target, and Home Depot, where 90% of purchases still happen. Well, it's time to turn that vision into reality with Product Fury. At Product Fury, we specialize in bridging the gap between online innovation and retail giants. In fact, we have secured millions of dollars of royalty deals for dozens of products at big box retail stores. Whether you're selling gadgets, home goods, or anything innovative, we're here to amplify your reach. Don't keep your product confined to the web. Visit www.productfury.ai today to submit your information for a free product evaluation. Let's get your products out of the internet cloud and into customer carts. Remember, that's productfury.ai. Make the leap from clicks to bricks and see your product thrive in the bustling aisles of major retailers. It's your time to shine on the big stage. Visit us now